ABC6. Good evening, Southern New England. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Tiffany Murphy. You may notice things look a little differently here at ABC6. That's because the studios had a fire last week and we're coming to you in a different format for the time being. For now, let's get to our top story tonight. We've been talking about it a lot lately, that so-called triple-demic circulating, fears of a spike in respiratory illnesses as well after so many holiday gatherings and folks flying. So a lot of people are wondering, are my sniffles the flu, COVID, or just a cold? Here's ABC6 News reporter Dominique Turner.
Flu and respiratory illnesses hitting hard this winter and often share overlapping symptoms like congestion and coughing. Patients with COVID-19 and the flu typically see symptoms like nausea, fatigue, muscle and body aches, while RSV can include loss of appetite, sneezing, and wheezing. Experts warn RSV has especially impacted children this year, with hospitalization rates for those younger than 5 years old twice as high as any season since 2018 and 2019, when the CDC first started tracking data specific to children. Pediatric hospital beds have consistently stayed about 3/4 full, according to federal data. Meanwhile, doctors say COVID levels have stayed far below previous surges, with the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services doing a quiet summer, but an increase in hospitalizations since early November. But flu hospitalizations have been on the incline this year, with CDC data showing the cumulative hospitalization rate has increased in at least 5 of the last 12 seasons. The Department of Health and Human Services also noting that although data has decreased in recent weeks, experts warn of a resurgence after the holidays. Medical professionals say getting tested can help narrow down which illness a person has and can help ensure those receive proper treatment in a timely manner. Doctors note Tamiflu for the flu and Paxlovid for COVID as examples of treatment available depending on which illness you're dealing with. In Providence, Dominique Turner, ABC6 News.
Now to our continuing coverage of the coronavirus and the moves by the U.S., Japan, and others to mandate COVID-19 tests for passengers arriving from China. So far, there's been no reports of any new variants, but there are global concerns about another explosive outbreak and the government not relaying that information quick enough. Here's ABC's Justin Finch.
As China struggles to deal with a crushing wave of COVID-19 infections, the CDC is announcing new restrictions on all travelers from China heading to the U.S. Starting January 5th, anyone traveling from China will be required to show proof of a negative PCR or antigen test taken within 2 days of departure.
This is an unfortunate but necessary step, given the fact that we don't really know how much COVID there is in China, and we don't know the full spectrum of what variants there are.
The tighter measures introduced because the U.S. is concerned about China's soaring number of cases and a lack of transparency from the Chinese government. New images out of China showing overcrowded hospitals and patients waiting in the hallway, some unable to be seen. The surge follows the Chinese government's decision to ease its so-called zero COVID policies a few weeks ago after rare protests sparked across the country. Mass testing and citywide lockdowns were suddenly abandoned. The rapid reopening resulted in what is likely millions of new cases, but China's government has only reported a handful of COVID deaths. Health officials say the rapid rise in cases could increase the possibility for new variants.
Given the fact that we don't have clear data about how much COVID is circulating in China and what variants are circulating, I'm not surprised that the CDC has taken these additional steps to keep the United States protected.
Justin Finch, ABC News, Washington.
A 28-year-old Easton man will be spending 2 to 3 years behind bars after his reckless driving resulted in someone's death. According to the Bristol County DA's office, Jake McCabe pleaded guilty to driving 61 miles an hour in a 30-mile-per-hour speed limit zone, crossing over the center line at an S-curve and crashing head-on into Scott Lewis's vehicle, killing the 37-year-old. This happened in April of 2020. Now, in addition to his prison sentence, McCabe will have his license revoked for 15 years. Our ABC6 News crews on the scene this afternoon of a crash that appears to have knocked over a pole. This happened around 1 this afternoon on the corner of Gano and Waterman Streets in Providence. We have calls out to police to get more information. Be sure to visit abc6.com and download the ABC6 News app for updates. Time now for a check of our forecast. Let's bring in Storm Tracker meteorologist Kelly Bates.
Well, thanks to plenty of sunshine, we saw temperatures come up into the lower 50s in most areas. Real pleasant one, too. And the best news of all is that we get to continue this trend as we go into the week. So, taking a look at our sky cam from Providence this afternoon, really nice conditions, plenty of sunshine, winds are light to calm, and high pressure is getting that job done. As it is situated to our south and east, it is pumping in air from the southwest. And for us in southern New England, that is a warm wind direction. Up close, things look nice and dry, and this will translate to clear skies as we go to tonight. And those clear skies overnight will bring in the sunshine to start your tomorrow. But after that, things will change. Clouds are going to roll in for the weekend, and we're going to welcome in the new year with rain. I'll tell you what time you can expect that coming up in just a couple minutes. Tiffany?
Now to an ABC 6 News follow-up. The Southwest mess continuing to drag on. Long lines, frustrated passengers at airports all across the country as Southwest Airlines flights continue to be canceled, including at TF Green. ABC 6 News reporter Wlne News Dec picks up the story from there.
Passengers are still seeing red as flight cancellations continue across the country, and it's a sea of red on flight boards here at TF Green for some Southwest flights.
I'm more worried in Baltimore because that's where they said they have most cancellation.
9 of 13 Southwest departures from TF Green canceled Thursday, following along a nationwide trend of more than 2,300 Southwest flights canceled today and 15,000 total in the past week.
Trying to call to find out if it's canceled, and I've been on hold for like 4 hours, 3 hours waiting for someone to pick up the phone.
Keisha White, who's traveling southwest to vacation in Montego Bay, Jamaica, one of those frustrated flyers this holiday season. Not able to get any answers from the airline that says it's had issues with its system since last Thursday, amid winter weather and high holiday travel volume. Earlier this week, the Department of Transportation announcing it will look into Southwest's issues and if the airline's cancellations were controllable. On Wednesday, Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg with a message to Southwest.
Meltdown is the right word. This is an unacceptable situation, and I've made clear that our department will be holding them accountable for their responsibilities to customers.
And in response to these mass cancellations and frustrations from customers, Southwest CEO Bob Jordan issuing an apology to their customers.
We're doing everything we can to return to a normal operation. And please also hear that I'm truly sorry.
Travel experts now advising those stranded to instead book flights on other airlines. But that's proven difficult for some, like Keisha White, who says she can't get the time she took off from work back and is left without many options if she can't make it to Jamaica.
I wanted to change it, but I couldn't because, working and all that, that's when I get the time off. So I was worried, and I'm still worried because, the connecting, I don't know what's going to happen there.
At TF Green Airport, Wlne News Dec, ABC 6 News.
Secretary of State Nellie Gorbea announcing today the Department of State has reached a settlement with election systems and software over ballot errors during this year's primary. You may remember back in August, those electronic voting machines displayed the wrong names on several Spanish language ballots. The state's voting machine vendor will provide a credit totaling more than $47,000 for all project management services provided for the primary. The vendor also agreed to post a statement on its website regarding best practices for accuracy. There's still so much more news and weather to come right here on ABC 6 News. Stick around.
The day of my accident, I was driving on the highway and the person just rear-ended me and kept going. As soon as I called the Tower Law Firm, I had instant peace of mind. They were amazing. They knew exactly how to handle my situation. I love that they care more about me and not just business.
There's never been a better time to get away. With a great deal on the Hyundai you've always wanted. With America's best warranty and up to 3 years complimentary maintenance. It's your journey. Own every mile at the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Hurry in to get our best deals of the season. Get in and get away. Get 0% APR plus bonus cash on 7 of our most popular 2023 models. Or sign and drive one home. Hurry, offers end January 3rd.
Delay, devalue. Time's on our side.
It's a serious accident. Lots of medical bills, wrecked vehicles.
Still, don't see a problem.
It's the law offices of De Oliveira and Associates, and they want triple what we offered. And a fair settlement now. Triple.
If you've been injured in an accident, tell them you mean business. Call D'Oliveira and Associates on the Hurt Line right now.
Let's settle this one.
Join the adventure at Disney on Ice when your favorite Disney friends visit your hometown. Pursue bold dreams and find courage along the way. Share the love, sing along, and discover magical memories in every moment. At Disney on Ice presents Into the Magic, playing now through January 2nd at Amica Mutual Pavilion. Great seats still available. For tickets and show details, visit DisneyOnIce.com.
The day of my accident, I was driving on the highway and the person just rear-ended me and kept going. As soon as I called the Tower Law Firm, I had instant peace of mind. They were amazing. They knew exactly how to handle my situation. I love that they care more about me and not just business.
In political news tonight, Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker wrapping up his term in office this week. That term, though, plagued with blizzards, a crumbling public transportation system, and, of course, the pandemic. The Republican also drew criticism of former President Donald Trump after publicly refusing to endorse and vote for Mr. Trump both in 2016 and 2020, but despite all of that, he was also the nation's most popular governor. Baker will be replaced by Attorney General Maura Healey, the state's first female and openly lesbian governor. New questions swirling around Congressman-elect George Santos. Sources now telling ABC News the finances of the Republican from New York are now the subject of a review by federal and local prosecutors. Santos is set to take office in just 5 days when the new Congress convenes. Here's ABC's Elizabeth Schulze.
New York Republican Congressman-elect George Santos, who lied about parts of his resume, is now facing new scrutiny over his finances. Sources tell ABC News federal prosecutors are reviewing his financial disclosures that appear to reveal Santos's wealth surged in just 2 years.
I'm a businessman who spent the last 14 years in finance.
When he first ran for office in 2020, Santos said he made $55,000 a year. But in 2022, financial disclosures show he claimed he earned millions from his company. His assets listed between $2 and $11 million. Documents also say he loaned his campaign more than $700,000. Democratic Congressman Richie Torres asking on Twitter, where did all the money come from?
I have an extensive career that I worked really hard to achieve.
On Fox News, Santos remained defiant, even suggesting he had worked with Goldman Sachs and Citigroup in a way, even though he days ago confessed he hadn't worked at either firm.
We can debate my resume and how I worked with firms such as Goldman and Citigroup.
Is it debatable or is it just false?
No,
is it debatable or is it just
debatable.
False?
No, it's not false at all. It's debatable.
Santos also lied about having a college degree and his family's background. But just days before Congress convenes, Santos is refusing to step down. Top Republicans on Capitol Hill still silent, as they're set to take control of the House.
The Republican district attorney in Long Island and Nassau County says she's looking into what she calls inconsistencies and fabrications related to Santos. She says she will prosecute him if a crime was committed. Elizabeth Schulze, ABC News, Washington.
Turning to world news at this hour, an update from the Vatican on former Pope Benedict's declining health. A spokesperson said he is lucid and stable, but his condition remains serious. He said Pope Francis renews his invitation for believers to pray for the Pope Emeritus. The 95-year-old made the nearly unprecedented decision to resign nearly a decade ago, becoming the first pope to do so in nearly 600 years. The death toll from a fire at a hotel and casino in Cambodia now rising to at least 19. At least 70 others are injured, those numbers though only expected to rise as search and rescue teams continue looking for victims who were trapped inside the hotel when those flames broke out. If Twitter was down for you at any point last night, you weren't alone. CEO Elon Musk says repairs to the platform were rolled out Wednesday to fix widespread outages. Outage detection site Down Detector says users started reporting problems around 7 o'clock Eastern last night. More than 10,000 in total were impacted. First-time unemployment claims ticking back up again. 225,000 claims were filed last week, 9,000 more than the previous week. Continuing claims have also ticked up to their highest level since February. Those are claims by people who've been getting unemployment benefits for more than a week. Now to a focus on your health. The Food and Drug Administration adding sesame to its list of major food allergens. Sesame joins the major food allergens list that also includes milk, eggs, fish, crustaceans, shellfish, tree nuts, peanuts, wheat, and soybeans. Sesame appears in many different ingredients, but has not always been listed by name on product labels.
And now, your ABC6 Storm Tracker weather with meteorologist Kelly Bates.
After such a lovely day, aren't you curious to see how we stack up against the averages? We average a start of 25 and make our way up to 40, but we came in warmer than both the low and the average high for today. Not record high temperature territory, though. That belongs to 1984 with a record high of 70. A record low of 10 degrees below zero still stands in the books, thank goodness, for at least another year. And that was set back in 1933. Sunrise this morning, 7:12. Sunset is at 4:23. For today. So our warming trend is now in place. Sunny and dry through tomorrow. And yeah, it's going to be just really pretty conditions. This warming trend holds highs in the 50s, not only as we go to Friday, but right through the weekend and into the first week of the new year. Speaking of New Year's Eve, we're looking at rainy conditions and a 47-degree temperature at midnight. New Year's Day, we're looking at rain that should take us through the morning with clearing in the afternoon and a New Year's Day high of 57. So up close, we're looking pretty good. High pressure has cleared out any clouds, and we're looking at mainly clear skies as we go into overnight tonight. High pressure will also keep us bright and dry through your Friday. But our satellite radar showing a couple things off to our west, an accumulation of clouds near the Great Lakes region. And also, as you look off towards the southwest, working its way through the Ohio River Valley, we've got an area of low pressure. Now, those things will eventually work their way into our forecast. In fact, that's where the rain's going to come from for New Year's Eve and New Year's Day morning. But in the meantime, between here and there, it's about the warm, moving in that air from the southwest. We aren't expecting clouds to build in advance of that front until we get to, say, the first half of Saturday. Once we get to Saturday afternoon, we're looking at a chance of showers, and the steady rain should be in place by the time we get to the midnight hour. So our future cast showing Saturday morning, just building in those clouds, 2 o'clock, a chance of a shower. But when we're welcoming in the new year, the steady rain will be in place, and it may even be locally heavy at times as we go into Sunday morning. Once we get by this final batch of rain for early Sunday morning, the afternoon will feature a return to a blend of sun and clouds. Your planner for your Friday. Decent day. It's going to be sunny and chilly in the morning. Lows will be in the lower 30s after all. But we are expected to see a temp near 50 by noon. And we should top out near 53. And that means your 5 p.m. late commute. We're looking at clear skies and a temp of about 47. And as you're counting down your New Year's celebrations, we are expecting to welcome in the new year with rain, but it's rain, not snow, and it's also not expected to freeze up to ice. So at least we have that going for us, which is nice, right? 47 at midnight, 57 your New Year's Day afternoon high temperature. And your forecast for tonight, again, clear, chilly, lows near 33, winds moving in from the southwest, real light 5 miles per hour. That southwesterly flow keeps on going for your Friday with a milder high near 53. And here's your weirdly warm 7-day forecast. Not only on New Year's Day are we expected to peak at a high of 57, but once we bring in a warm front for the middle of next week, temperatures might come mighty close to that 60-degree mark and hold warm too as rain continues to fall looking down the road to next Thursday. So yes, we do have some really warm weather in place, and we get to keep it as we look ahead. No shoveling for the first week of January. So good news all around from the weather department. Now to see how things are moving in the world of sports, here's your favorite sports guy.
I'm Ian Steele in Kingston. The URI men's basketball team out of COVID protocols and back on the floor for their Atlantic 10 opener this week. We check in with the Rams coming up. Stick around. Sports is next.
To switch to ABC6 from Providence.
You live here. You should care.
To Taunton.
A larger weapon coming down the street.
To Woonsocket.
That scary crash happened this morning.
We're your nonstop news source on air and online. Everywhere you need us to be. It's time to switch to ABC6.
You didn't live this strong, this long, to get put on the shelf like a porcelain doll. But 1 out of 2 women over 50 will suffer a fracture from osteoporosis. You should know you can build new bone with Evenity for postmenopausal women with osteoporosis at high risk for fracture. Ask your doctor if you can do more than just slowing down bone loss with Evenity. Want stronger bones? Then build new bone. Evenity can help in just 12 months. Evenity is proven to reduce spine fracture risk by 73%.
Evenity can increase risk of heart attack, stroke, or death from a cardiovascular problem. Do not take Evenity if you have low blood calcium or are allergic to it. Serious allergic reactions and low blood calcium have occurred. Tell your doctor about jawbone problems, as they have been reported with Evenity, or about pain in your hip, groin, or thigh, as unusual thigh bone fractures have occurred.
Don't let a break put you on a shelf. Talk to your doctor about building new bone with Evenity.
Oh, that's normal. Wow.
This holiday season, get 2.9% APR for 48 months plus 500 Trade Assist cash on a new 2023 Forte.
Mario has access everywhere.
I'm Mario Lopez, and this is Access Hub.
Well, almost everywhere.
Still gonna need to see your ID if you want your car back.
Weeknights at 7 on ABC6.
Some breaking news out of Kingston. URI big man Josephat Balau will have surgery on what's being called a significant knee injury. He will likely miss the rest of the season.
He was our most physical defender. He was our most physical offensive player. He gave us our best chance of keeping a deeper team inside.
That loss comes as the Rams are trying to make up for lost time. Their last game before holiday break canceled because of a COVID-19 outbreak within the team.
Everybody's good. Had a few people under the weather. Took our time off to get healthy, but we're all back and healthy, ready to go.
The complete house was impacted, the top to the bottom. We had a lot of different guys not feeling well. Some of it was health and safety protocol. Some of it was just, regular flu symptoms.
So the non-conference schedule ended in quarantine. It's Atlantic 10 play from here on out as Rhodey returns to work.
It was good for us guys to go home a little bit, get home and see some family. So I feel like that was good. And, our first couple of days back, we did have some great days of practice. So those days off did help us a little bit.
As we've returned, we've had a really good bounce about us where I'm not as concerned about the conditioning. We're in a good shape. Now, game shape, you haven't played a game in a while, that'll be a shell shock on Saturday. I think we'll deal with some wind there, but I'm not concerned about the conditioning.
Now healthy enough to play, they'll take the floor Saturday at 1 o'clock in Pittsburgh against Duquesne for their Atlantic 10 opener. In Kingston, I'm Ian Steele, ABC6 Sports.
Meet Kavika Sharma. She's a dancer who loves to watch Broadway shows and happens to be American Girl's first South Asian character. The 2023 Girl of the Year lives in New Jersey, just a short train ride from New York City. American Girl says it'll be donating $25,000 in scholarships for kids to participate in Camp Broadway's summer programs in New York City. Let's get one final check of our forecast. Kelly?
A final look at your extended forecast shows a whole lot of warm air in place. We're looking at temperatures that are going to be in the 50s, not only for your Friday, but right through the first part of the first week of the new year. We have the potential of coming mighty close to even the 60-degree mark on Sunday, even though we'll start with rain, and that will be clearing when we hit the afternoon. Patchy fog will be around, but temperatures should still top out well into the 50s. And a warm front on Wednesday has the potential of bringing highs that creep very close to that 60-degree mark. So no shoveling for the first week of January, as these warm temperatures will likely continue on to about this time next week. Tiffany?
That's going to do it tonight on ABC 6 News. For news and weather at any time, head to abc6.com and be sure to download the ABC 6 News app so you can get news and weather alerts sent straight to your cell phone. Have a great rest of your evening.